Good morning everyone. Well, it's coming up to 9 o'clock here in the Sable, so 8 o'clock UTC, and thought I'd give you a quick update on weather and entrance and so on, and just a reminder that none of this is meant to be recorded and replayed to any entrants out on the course, because I'll talk about Jean-Luc and Mark shortly. So we're still all on one map. We've got Jean-Luc and Mark right up here close to the start line, and then we've got Istvan and Uku strangely having a race now. This is going to be really interesting to see what plays out there, and Tapio heading south. So and as we know, Igor will be back on the track sometime in November this year. So we'll just, most of you would have heard the sound cloud yesterday from Tapio talking about how he slept through that last storm, which is really great. And right now he's trying to get south. He knows there is the centre of a high here. Centre of a, hang on, yeah, that is a high. So it's coming around, hang on a sec. Oh, that's interesting. That's just a bit of a no wind zone here, because up the top the wind here is coming from the northwest, and so is down the bottom here. So Tapio's wind direction right now is coming from a low pressure system which is centered down here somewhere. So that's why he's got a northwesterly wind. Anyway, nice breeze at the moment. He's enjoying his ride, as you probably heard. And if we look at the big picture, we don't have to get too close on this. Look at the big picture. You'll see as we go forward, till tomorrow. He will be a bit further south, so he'll still be in that breeze. He's still got a northwesterly, and we go forward again another day. Still, he gets into a westerly airflow now, and he's going to have typical Southern Ocean weather for the next few days by the look of it. So he should be making good time. He will be turning around then, heading straight for Cape Horn. We go through another day, the 20th. Got a nice big kick there from this bit of a blow down the bottom, so strong westerlies, probably 5-6 metre seas again. Typical Southern Ocean. He loves it. He really does love it down here. He did the Whitbread many years ago, and it's just bringing back lots of memories. So he's having a great time, and there's he might get slowed down a little bit by lack of wind there. There's a trough of no wind coming across, but generally that's the 22nd. Go through 23rd, 24th, nothing happening. He'll be in this zone here, so he's got clear weather, no storms or anything coming through. Something brewing here, but it looks like it's going south, and it's too far away to worry about. So Tapio's pretty happy. Now let's get back here to Istvan and Uku. Kind of some interesting stuff going on here, and it's been developing in the last week, as I mentioned some time ago, that Istvan might catch up to Uku. And at the moment, today's weather, you can see Uku is sitting in not much wind at all, still pretty light, going around in circles, only doing 2.3 knots. You can see, if I blow this up, you'll see his course in the last few days. He's literally gone nowhere. He's just in circles doing 1 knot, 2 knot, and there's no wind in front of him. He's got nowhere to go. So we'll just come back and concentrate on Istvan for now, and you'll see how he's making his grounds. So he's making 4.4 knots, been doing okay, because it's generally showing pretty light winds there. Nothing of any great strength, and it's behind him. So he's probably got spinnakers up at the moment, doing pretty well, and heading in the right direction. That's even more important. So if we go forward a day here, come through to the 18th, there we go. You can see he's still got a good breeze. It's swapped over to the starboard side, but he'll still be making good speed. There's one day. We come forward another day, and he's still got good breeze. It's all on the starboard beam at the moment. So there's 2 days of good sailing. Speeds of 4 to 6 knots, I suppose. We come forward to the next day. Again, he'll be up here, plenty of breeze, but it's coming on the beam, so he should be doing okay. So there's 3 days of reasonably good progress north. If we come through to the 21st, and he's got his first blocking breeze, you might say. So he'll then have to decide, as headwinds here, he'll have to decide whether he goes out to starboard or to port, but that's only 1 day. So he's got 3 days, okay, of good sailing. And if we compare that now to Uku, let's just put him over here. I think you can probably see that. I'll just focus on him. Let's look at what he gets for the next 3 days. We come forward a day. Okay, he's got a bit of breeze. He should be making good time, but he'll be coming out to the probably out to the northeast. So he'll be moving a little bit there, and as he's come out to the northeast the next day, you can see In fact, I'll scale it back. It's always tricky. You can see he will have come up into here, but there's still a general light patch of breeze that he's going to potentially sail into after 2 days, and then we go to 3 days. Again, it's light headwinds, so he could get off on a starboard tack with that, but generally progress is going to be low. He's probably only going to be averaging 3 knots or so every day. So if you say Istvan's got 3 days of 5 to 6s, he's probably going to pull out another 150, maybe even more, 180 miles in the scheme of things. Now, the other thing to remember is that Uku and Istvan, they generally want to go north, okay? They want to get up this way, all right? So if I was to measure the distance apart now, there's 2 ways to do this. I can just put one there and say, rightio, Istvan is 800 miles away from Uku. But the reality is that we put this on Istvan right now, and if I just drag this across in the scheme of things, right, if Istvan was there, I would say at that point he was on level pegging with Uku, because they're both going this way. So the distance from Istvan to that point is only 400 miles. And so if Istvan gets 2 or 3 good days sailing compared to Uku, he might pull out 200 miles out of there and get 200 miles further in the line that's going up towards the finish this way. So we really do have a boat race here, and 200 miles behind Uku in the relative course going to the finish is nothing, okay? And that means any one of these guys, I mean, there's difference possibly in boat speed. Uku, the Rustler 36 is potentially a little bit faster than the Tradewind 35, but Istvan's actually sailing hard, even though he's got all these problems. And Uku's been sailing the best he can, but wow, Istvan's caught up. He's had some good breezes, some good breaks, so watch this space. That's still definitely a boat race. Okay, so now we'll go back to the wind again here, and we'll scale it up, come up to the main game that everyone's intrigued, and I'll just remind everyone not to record this and play it back to the entrance. One of the fascinating things here is that I'm seeing more and more comments from people suggesting that Jean-Luc is getting routing information because all of his tactics are working really well. And I've got to tell you, that's just not the case. Some people don't understand how weather works. Some people don't understand the history of the Azores High and what's the traditional route. And so on. The next time I do a live question and answer, I'm going to give people some very simple instructions on how it works. And basically, you've got to remember, Jean-Luc's done this trip this way about 8 times before. He knows where to go traditionally, and he knows all about the Azores High. It's famous, it's world famous, and it sits there. So the reason he's doing this tactic is because he wants to lock into the Azores High. The next thing is that when you're using a barometer and you know wind direction, that's all you need to work out where the center of any pressure system is, whether it's a low pressure system or a high pressure system. You just face the breeze and you put your arm out to the left or the right, generally speaking, and that'll tell you where the center is. Then if you watch your barometer, you can tell whether you're getting closer to the center, because it'll either be going up or down depending on whether it's a high or a low pressure system, or if you're moving away from the system, your barometer will also tell you where you are. So that's what you do to determine your tactics on where you're going to position yourself in relation to a pressure system. So all those that are saying that Jean-Luc's getting some secret information about weather routing because he's doing too well, just remember he's a very experienced sailor. And Mark's not doing anything wrong either. I think Mark maybe had a little bit of indecision there a few days ago as to whether he wanted to sneak up the Portuguese coast or whether he wants to actually go around the north, the Azores, and play that game as well. So so right now it's very interesting game for sure. And there's a if we watch this weather coming up, I just played it through about 10 minutes ago. There's some tricky things happening at the moment. It's all doing what it's meant to do. There is a high pressure system sitting pretty much over the top of the Azores. It goes around in a clockwise direction, and Jean-Luc's trying to get over the top here and hook up to this sleigh ride, heading towards the finish line. And if you watch the last live I did, it was all looking pretty good, but the weather's going to change, and that's going to change the game completely, I think. So for now, Mark is... hang on, we'll just go one at a time here. We'll get up here so you can see Mark. Mark is making 6.3 knots, and the wind is moving around, but generally it's northeasterly. Generally northeasterly at the moment. It's probably a bit northeasterly. He's still holding high to get north and maybe wants to cut the corner. And as he sees his barometer dropping, he'll know whether, and the wind direction, he'll know whether he's headed into the centre here, or if this centre of no wind moves one way or the other, and then he'll possibly make a decision to at least stay in the breeze and get around. So if we just follow Mark's weather, in fact I will, I'm hoping you can see the relative scale here. We'll do a combination. They're so close at the moment. In fact, let's just check the distance for a start. The distance here, we've got, hang on, got to get that happening. We've got that one there, okay. So we've got about 435 miles, so their distance apart's 435 miles, and as I say, Mark has probably wanted to cut up to the middle here, so that's not too bad. Right, now we'll just play this around. So this is the weather they've got now. Jean-Luc's running out of a bit of breeze by the look of it. That's why he's probably doing 5 knots. He knows he's on the limit of it, because you'll see the wind direction coming from pretty much behind, and he doesn't want to go any further across here. I'm going to push it through every 3 hours just to see how it develops. So the centre is now moving away from Jean-Luc, coming down towards, hang on, here we go, coming down towards Mark, and Jean-Luc now is in the back of it. As soon as he gets this, he's going to ride it around, okay, because the centre of the high pressure system, sorry, is dropping down towards Mark. And you can see Jean-Luc will be rocketing up here, but Mark's now got this blocking light air. It's going to come around to his starboard side, so he'll free sheets and start moving again. It looks okay. By this stage he's around here, Jean-Luc's up here, so it's doing all the normal things right now. And this is 8 o'clock on the 19th now, so we're 2 days ahead. 2 days ahead, Mark is going to be here. Jean-Luc's going to have some challenges, because you can see it's starting to lighten off and get a bit fluffy, and everything's getting a bit confusing now because of the next system that's coming down here. There is another high just here above that's going to join up, and that'll create a bit of confusion for Jean-Luc and possibly some delays, while Mark might be riding the breeze coming through the bottom here. So we'll keep pushing this through. I'm just hoping, hang on, I'm trying to show you the right bits here. Okay, hope you can see that. I'm just checking the screen. Yeah, you can see Mark there. I'll bounce it up 1, but the weather that's coming ahead is also of interest. Now I've got to hit that. Okay, so you can see this is now the 20th, so it's 3 days ahead. They'll be up here by then, and generally you can see now that centre is joined together, and there's not a lot of wind up there, so there's only going to be about another 3 days of predictable weather for Jean-Luc, and I think Mark is okay. He's going to keep riding this, and then Jean-Luc may slow down. If we just now scale this back to look at what's coming in the future, so and you can see this other high pressure system, this is for the 20th, and that's what's going to stop Jean-Luc and might allow Mark to catch up a little bit. There's a massive storm forming up the top here, and that's what's creating or driving some of this weather. So I'm just going to click it through every 3 hours, and you can see, remembering our guys are down here, and there's a northeasterly track up here, but there's nothing in between. And so Jean-Luc with Mark following up behind is going to have to make some tricky decisions. Here it starts to fold down now, so that's okay, they can go through it. But if you watch this big guy here, it's going to, I'm pushing this through, this is the 21st, end of the 21st, we're into the 22nd now. So the 22nd is 5 days ahead, so let's just stop it there, zoom in a bit. 5 days ahead, let's say they're making, that'll put them about 600 miles or so. So there's 400 continuing with the weather. I'd say Jean-Luc's going to be in about this position here in about 5 days' time, and he's got headwinds. Okay, now this is the important thing to see. The system in the North Atlantic is driving the weather, which is forming this little high here as well. So everything starts to change. It'll be hard to predict. No one knows what's really going to happen, 4 days out, 5 days out, but there's going to be some more tactical issues. There's going to be a chance for initially Jean-Luc, I think, will keep doing really well, pull away, but Mark, by the time we get up here, I think Mark's going to make some gains on Jean-Luc, because I'll now click this through. You can see the finish line over here. There's the finish. In fact, I'll put the, I'll get rid of that now. I'll put the course on there, not that one. Where are we? Here we go. Okay, there's the finish there, and I'll just click this through so you can see how this big blow comes through, remembering that they're going to be about here. See this headwinds, it's all headwinds. This is the 22nd, this is the 23rd, okay, it's freeing off a bit, it's from the northwest. They can drive that, but there's some big weather there, some big weather. So there's plenty of weather challenges, and then when it goes reasonable, it's all headwinds again, blocking them. And there's no side route. Normally the high is here, and they can come up and come in this way, but there's no way. The whole thing is closing down, that's the 25th. That's potentially a week away from the finish. 26th, they've still got headwinds all through here. So that's as far as we go. So by the 26th, which is 9 days away, you can see it's going to be a real struggle. So I think February the 1st is a reasonable expectation. I can't see them getting here any earlier, and there's still plenty of issues involved with seeing who's going to be able to make what gains. So watch this space. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you later on.